Alright guys, it's about that time. It's the video you've all been waiting for, my top 10 fall designer fragrances. Or maybe you haven't been waiting for this one very much, but I know I personally haven't been super excited to finally get this video out. I've been planning it for the past week or so. You guys know the typical drill. Putting things in, rearranging things around, because honestly it's pretty hard to come up with videos like this, especially when you have a lot of great fall fragrances. It's tough to get everything to fit in exactly where you want it to. And as you guys have been hearing me on the channel, I'm super excited and pumped for fall. Of course, I'm gonna miss summer a little bit, but I'm really looking forward to fall and all the great fragrances that I can wear in the fall. A lot of the heavier, sweeter stuff that I just can't really touch when it's extremely hot in the summer. So if you guys like videos like this, make sure you get subscribed to the channel down below, and I will provide links to all these fragrances mentioned in the description as well. We have a lot to cover. Let's jump right into it. Now, we do actually have one honorable mention, and the reason why this is an honorable mention is because this fragrance is really difficult to find. This one is Rive Gauche Pour Homme from their La Collection. This one is Rive Gauche Pour Homme from their La Collection line of fragrances. Of course, the iconic barbershop fragrance. It's one of my personal favorite barbershops and really just one of my favorite designer fragrances in general. There's something about it for me that I just love and is just magical to me. I wore this one a lot last fall, so when I smell it now, it takes me right back to autumn of last year. And this is one that I am planning on wearing quite a bit this fall as well. Would have made it in the list pretty high, but again, you can't really get it online or as far as I know in stores either, so I didn't want to take up a spot in the list since you can't actually get it. It is an honorable mention though, and one that I'm personally going to wear a lot. That's Rive Gauche Pour Homme. Jumping right into the actual list, at number 10, we have Armani Stronger With You Freeze. So the newest flanker to the Armani Stronger With You line. This is fragrance number 3, the third flanker. I like this one. Now, what you'll find is that even though this is called Freeze, you got a frosted glass bottle, and it's overall going to be marketed as a fresher version of Stronger With You, this one still is going to be on the relatively sweet side. So this isn't really a summer flanker for me. You may think that it would be by the look and by the name. Of course, the fragrance color says otherwise, but you may think it's going to be a bit more appropriate for summer, but it's not. It could potentially be a spring flanker if you wanted it to, but for me, this one's going to be for fall. This is, in my opinion, a really good time of the year to wear this new version. Stuff like the original and Intensely is when I'm going to break out probably in the actual winter time, because those are relatively heavy and sweet. I find that this one kind of strikes a bit of a balance, and honestly, it's a pretty good flanker. Wasn't expecting a whole lot out of it, but I do enjoy this one. That's at number 10, Stronger With You Freeze, and this one has made its way to discounters, so you can check it out, link down below. Moving into number 9, we have Paco Rabanne Pure XS, just the original here. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Pure XS Night, but that one, again, I find is going to be more for the winter time for me because it's a bit heavier, sweeter. It's got a very spicy note to it as well, like a cumin in the opening, which can be off-putting. I find that one really good for winter and the colder weather. However, Pure XS, this one's a bit more mild. It's still got a sweetness, like a booziness, and a bit of a cola fizziness type of thing going on. But to me, it's a bit more mild for the season of fall. It smells great, it's a Paco Rabanne, so it's going to be a mass appealing scent. It's got pretty good quality for the price. Performance is not that bad either. Keep in mind, this isn't necessarily going to be anything brand new that you've never smelled before, but it is a really pleasant smelling scent. And again, for fall, you can't beat this one. It is Pure XS at number 9. Moving into number 8, we have John Varvatos Oud. So you may be thinking that this one would be more of a winter fragrance, and initially that's what I thought too before I actually smelled it. I purchased this one just on a blind buy like I do basically 100% of the time, and I was surprised to see that this one does have, again, a bit more of a freshness to it than you may initially expect. With something simply by the name of Oud, I mean, you may be thinking it's going to be a pretty heavy and strong scent, but you'll find that this one isn't quite as heavy and strong as you may think. It does have some oud in there, but it's not going to be anything that's super different and out of the norm. So, for example, something from a niche house, niche oud fragrances are typically going to be a lot harder to pull off. this one is going to be pretty easy to pull off. It's a very wearable designer oud, and you get a lot more than oud from this one. I mean, if you look at the notes, there's a ton of notes like John Varvatos fragrances usually have. They have extensive note breakdowns, and you get a lot more out of it, a lot of a balsamic sweetness to it. And again, I've mentioned this before, but I get a little bit of a comparison to something like Dark Rebel Rider from John Varvatos, which has that same kind of smooth, creamy, balsamic nature that this one has. And for me, you can tell when a fragrance is from the house of John Varvatos. They all have a kind of similar nuance to them. This one is no exception either. Still a really nice smelling scent, and if you want a pleasant, wearable designer oud fragrance for about $50, check this one out. It's pretty good. Moving into number 7, we have Chanel Allure Homme. Just the original OG Allure Homme. Of course, you could have put Allure Homme Extreme in here. That would be a great scent for fall. You could even put Allure Homme Sport, just the original Allure Homme Sport. A bit more fresh, but it still has a creamy backbone to help back it up, maybe for those slightly warmer fall days. But ultimately, I wanted to go for the original Allure Homme, just simply because I know I'm going to be wearing this one a lot. I'm going to wear Allure Homme Sport Extreme as well, but I love just the original. I really do. This is kind of one of those fragrances, one of the OG fragrances that just gets overlooked anymore. You know, we got all the new flankers and just a whole bunch of different stuff going on, even all the blue fragrances that are out now. A lot of people seem to forget about this guy, but it smells incredible. A nice creamy lemon mixing with a ton of other notes. It's got a little bit of a fresh kick, but also a nice warm and creamy dry down. Smells great, and honestly, it's a great choice for fall. Moving into number 6, we have Tom Ford Ombre Leather. So this was the first addition to their new signature line of scents. For those of you who don't know, Ombre Leather 16, which was this fragrance, was in the private blend. They discontinued that private blend version and brought it over to this line of fragrances here, the signature, and they recently did that as well with Beau de Jour. That started out as a private blend, a more expensive fragrance from Tom Ford, and they are now bringing it over to the signature line, which bottles look like this, making it a lot more affordable and easily obtainable, which I think is a great idea. And this scent, they did it for a reason, because it's a great smelling and pretty wearable leather fragrance. Now, Tuscan leather, it's going to be a bit harder to pull off, and that one's a bit more daring, but Ombre Leather has a lot more of a freshness to it. And you'll find with this one, the counterbalance that they're using in here is some sort of florals. In Ombre Leather 16, they were using violet or violet leaf to kind of give a cooling freshness to that leather note. But I do find that Ombre Leather smells incredible. It's a perfect one for fall. Could work in winter as well, but because of that freshness that this one has, I'll probably be choosing this one for fall more, and then maybe choosing something like Tuscan Leather in the winter time. You know, Tuscan Leather does have that raspberry, giving it a bit of a freshness in the opening, or a fruitiness in the opening, so you could go either way with it, I suppose. But I do like the wearability and just the overall airiness of Ombre Leather. It's a fun one to wear. Every time I wear it, I do enjoy it a lot. It's got really good projection and longevity as well. Great fragrance all around, and it is worth the money, especially on discount. Tom Ford Ombre Leather. Breaking into the top 5, we have one of my personal favorites and one that is close to my heart. This one is Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme, just the OG. Just one of those fragrances for me that I just love. Even now to this day, you know, after smelling so many other things and having this being, you know, a fragrance that I got really early on in my collection, I still love this one, especially for fall. I'm sure it made my fall video last year, and I'm sure it made it the year before as well. It's just a fall staple for me, and it's always one that I love reaching for. It's just such a gentleman's, classy, masculine scent. You get this nice apple ginger thing going on, bit of a muskiness as well, and some woods. It just smells like a gentleman's classic, and for me, it just is reminiscent of fall. It's a signature scent type of thing, so you could wear it all year round, but I don't know. There's something about it to me that just screams fall every time I smell it. Could just be me. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys agree as well, but that's at the top 5. Very deserving of this spot, in my opinion, Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme. Moving into number 4, we have Bvlgari Man In Black. Really enjoy this fragrance. It's a kind of Spice Bomb EDT smelling thing, but with a bit more of a classy upscale smell. Spice Bomb EDT is pretty playful and young smelling, as I'm sure you guys are aware. It's kind of labeled as one of the ex-boyfriend fragrances because it's super popular, and it just kind of has this young, dare I say, kind of Tool douchey type of smell to it. I love the scent, and it makes me feel that type of way when I wear it, so I'm not bashing it at all. But that's kind of the you know, direction. That's kind of the way that's described in the community. This one basically takes that DNA and just makes it a bit more grown up. You know, Spice Bomb is a guy in his early 20s going to college parties. Man in Black is that same guy, but about 10 years later, after he's grown up and, you know, has a better job and all that stuff. Really enjoy the scent. It's got a bit more of a rum, boozy quality to it, whereas Spice Bomb EDT doesn't have that. Still get that spiciness, a lot of warm cinnamon, but just an overall different take on the scent. It smells great. I love it, especially for fall. Very sexy and alluring. That is Bvlgari Man In Black. Moving into number 3, we have another one of my personal favorite fragrances. I reviewed this one, I don't know, a few months back whenever I got this one first. And it's just one that, for me, I just love and enjoy so much. This one is Yves Saint Laurent M7 Oud Absolu. So again, this one has undergone some changes with the bottle. You have this version, the clear, which just says M7 on the front, and you have the version which is black, the black bottle, which I also have. That one says M7 Oud Absolu. In terms of scent, to my nose, they're basically the same. Performance and everything is great on both of them. So as far as I know, there's just a change of bottle for whatever reason. I like the look of the old bottles better, but it is what it is. I'm glad to have 2 bottles of this one because I love it so much. And this one is still available. I carry it on my website. There's, I think, a few other discounters that still does carry this fragrance. Number 3 for a reason. It smells incredible. Another very wearable designer oud fragrance. It's oud and patchouli done in such a great way. Beautiful scent. At number 3, amazing for fall, Yves Saint Laurent M7. Moving into number 2, we have another one that is a staple for fall. Just like one of those fragrances that, you know, I have a lot of other things, but I still love this one. And another thing about this one is that, you know, this one you would probably say, hey, isn't that more of a winter suited fragrance because of how sweet it is? And I would say, absolutely. However, there's something about it for me, just kind of my personal, you know, memories with the scent and wearing it in fall, that I love this one more in fall than I do in winter. That's just kind of how it is for me. Although I would say this one does benefit from the colder weather better because of how sweet it is. Number 2 is Ultra Male. So I'm sure you knew exactly what I was talking about there, and you can agree how sweet this fragrance is. Again, definitely benefits from the extreme cold weather, but I like this one in the fall. I don't know, there's something about it, just the playfulness that it has, that just reminds me of just those bonfires and leaves falling and Halloween, fall festivities. It's all kind of wrapped up into this. Get this nice pear and cinnamon and vanilla, nice cozy warm scent, although very sweet and very loud. Does have the ability to be kind of alluring and sensual and sexy as well if you tame down the sprays. If you want to wear this in a closer encounter and situation, go with 1 to 2 sprays and give it time to air out before you go into that situation. So pre-spray it, you know, an hour, hour and a half before you go out on your date or do whatever, because it is a loud scent. And again, less is more in that type of environment. If you're going to parties and fun, cool Halloween stuff and you want to be loud and project, this is going to do it for you, and you can go with a few extra sprays to get the job done. Still one of my personal favorites that, just for me, smells like fall. I don't know what it is about it, but I love it. It's Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male. And finally, at number 1, those of you who have a keen eye and who have been following the videos closely lately have probably noticed that 10 through 2, you haven't seen this one yet. So I'm sure a few of you guys have picked up on what my number 1 is going to be. This one is Paco Rabanne 1 million Prive. One of my recent discoveries. Well, I actually smelled it via a sample a couple years ago, but I just never got around to getting a bottle. But one of my recent full bottle fragrance discoveries from Paco Rabanne 1 million. I love it. I think it's an incredible scent. And from the house of Paco Rabanne and from their 1 million line, it smells out of this world good, and it doesn't smell like it belongs in the 1 million line. Like, this stuff could have been rebottled into something different, and it probably would have gotten a lot less hate and would be appreciated even more. I don't care that it's a 1 million. I love the scent. It smells great. Cinnamon and spices and sweetness, just everything that you could ask for in a fall scent. This is kind of fall wrapped up into one right here. 1 million Prive. Gorgeous, gorgeous scent. Super excited to wear it this fall. So guys, that was going to do it for me. That was my top 10 fall designer fragrances. Let me know what you guys are going to be wearing down below in the comments. And do remember that all these fragrances will be linked down below in the description. If you want to check any of these out, pick any of these up, you guys know what to do. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow morning with another one. Take care.